Welcome back, everyone. Time to do the first comparison, I guess, of all the comparisons I'm going to do of the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. Now, the S20 FE is on the left, and it's pretty much that brand new Samsung phone that Samsung made. It's supposed to be this budget phone without really escaping out at anything that people don't need. It's kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. I guess it's like basically the Galaxy A71, but a little bit better. I think that's the best way I would describe it, or like a Galaxy S20, but a light version of that, maybe even like an S10 Lite. But it's funny because in a lot of ways, the S20 FE is very, very similar to the standard Galaxy S20, which is extremely weird. So this phone I bought for $699. It was about like $750, I think, around that price tag when I bought it, including tax and everything. The Galaxy S20, though, you can actually pick some of these up on Amazon for less than $700. And I'll leave both of these linked down in the description below for the cheapest prices that I find. And you can also help support the channel at the same time. Now, looking on the front, you can see that the Galaxy S20 FE is a little bit bigger than the Galaxy S20. On the S20 FE, we have a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED display, and it's a pretty good looking panel. You can see that we have a little bit of bezel around the display, but it's really not that bad. I mean, even compared to the Galaxy S20, like this specific bezel on the bottom, it really doesn't look too bad in my opinion. You have a little bit of bezel on the side and pretty much the same level of bezel on the top too, so it doesn't really look that bad. On top of that, you have that hole punch display right here, which actually doesn't look too bad, It's pretty much almost the exact same thing as the Galaxy S20. It kind of looks more like a Note in my opinion. As you can see, the Galaxy S20 kind of has these curved edges. The Galaxy S20 FE kind of has these flatter sides. The panel itself is also flat. It's not a curved panel like on the Galaxy S20. Now the panel itself isn't bad, it's 1080p and it really doesn't look too bad. I can tell though a little bit that it's not like the most premium feeling device or the most premium feeling, Android Galaxy Samsung has made, but I don't really think it's that big of a deal either. I think it actually feels and looks pretty good in my opinion. Now the biggest thing and the biggest asset about the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE would definitely come in the way of their 120 Hz refresh rate that the Galaxy S20 FE has, and that is something that is extremely awesome. Whenever I was scrolling through and I forgot this phone even had it, when I booted it up for the first time, I actually saw, I was like, wow, this thing actually is pretty smooth. I thought it had a 90 Hz at first, but it actually has a 120 Hz refresh rate, which is an extremely awesome thing. I literally love seeing those type of things on these type of devices, and that's awesome. I mean, for this thing to be kind of like a budget device and have that capability is extremely awesome. Whereas on the Samsung Galaxy S20, on the other hand, we have a 6.2-inch dynamic AMOLED display, and it's 1440p, and it's that standard. This is like the pinnacle of displays. This is probably like the best display out there right now, in my opinion. You have a very little bezel around the whole entire display, a little bit at the bottom, a little bit at the top, nothing too crazy. You have that curved panel right here, and like I said, some people may prefer the curved, some people may prefer the flat. There's pros and cons for both. The curved kind of, makes it look a little bit more premium and looks a little bit slimmer on the sides, but the flat I think is more functional because with the flat display, I'm never accidentally touching things on the side. With the Galaxy S20, whenever I'm on the side or anything, it picks up a lot of accidental touches, but it's totally okay. Now you also have that 120 Hz refresh rate on this display as well, and like I said before, it looks really good. And this is a better display. The Galaxy S20 has a better display than the Galaxy S20 FE, but it's really like the S20 FE is still really impressive in my opinion. Now, I don't know why, but the automatic brightness is always on these things, so I always have to turn them off. Now, on the bottom, they both have USB Type-C ports. I was expecting the Galaxy S20 FE to have a headphone jack, but it actually doesn't. And on the back, there are some very similar differences between them. So in the S20, we have the standard glass back that feels pretty good. It's not like a frosted back that we have on the Note 20 Ultra, but it feels pretty good in the hand, a triple camera sensor up top. Whereas on the Galaxy S20 FE, we have a plastic back on here. They took the same thing that they had on their plastic back on their Note 20 and put it on here. I don't know what they were thinking, but I will tell you, the camera sensor itself, I think actually looks better. Not the camera itself, but the camera sensor, how it looks here. I actually like this because it looks like just like the Note 20 and Note 20 Ultra, and I like that more boxy, more like detailed design that this one has. The S20, I think it's fine too. They both kind of look the same, and I think it's kind of hard to tell over the camera. But if I go ahead and zoom in, you may be able to see a little bit of maybe a few differences here and there. But other than that, I'm sure the camera quality I'll get into in a second. So that really pretty much covers up everything I wanted to hit on the outside. Now, software-wise, I'm pretty sure they're going to be getting the same exact software versions. That's what Samsung has stated. So they're both starting off at Android 10, the One UI 2.5 update. They're both going to be getting One UI 3 and all that. Now, I'm pretty sure down the line, probably the Samsung Galaxy S20 series are probably going to be getting these software updates first, followed by the S20 FE at some point. So it's kind of hard to tell right now what's going to happen, but I'm pretty sure that's pretty much the gist of it in my opinion. So they're both going to be getting the same exact software versions. So now that we have that out of the way, I can go ahead and do a little bit of a speed comparison between them and see which one is the faster one. Now the Galaxy S20 has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chipset, an octa-core CPU, and the Adreno 650 GPU, and 8 gigs of RAM, and there's only one model of it. Where the Galaxy S20 FE, I keep calling it the A series, also has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chipset inside of it, an octa-core CPU, and Adreno 650 GPU as well, and 6 gigs of RAM on the base model and 8 gigs of RAM on the two top tier models. Now this model does have 6 gigs of RAM, so keep that in mind. So let's go and see which one is the faster one between these two. Okay, and for some reason I hit the unrecord button, so that was very weird, so I have to redo this. But it's totally okay, I only did the first app, so let's do it again. Play Store 3, 2, 1. And like I said before, actually this one switched up. I think the S20 was a little bit faster. The first time I did it, the vibration mode on these phones are crazy, but I'm pretty sure the FE won the first time. But scrolling through, you can see pretty much the same. Maybe you guys can tell a bigger difference over the camera, but I can't really tell. They both have the 120 Hz refresh rate on as well, so keep that in mind. We do the Galaxy Store 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same. Phone 3, 2, 1. Okay, about the same there too. Messages, about the same. Browser, we can go and load up a web page. Do Google and Facebook 3, 2, 1. And I think the S20 was a little bit faster there. Now I have a bunch of these third-party apps that we can get into. Let's do Snake versus Blocks 3, 2, 1. And maybe the S20 FE was a little bit faster there. But they both were pretty much like milliseconds away from each other. Scrolling through, you guys can see, yeah, about the same here too, not a big difference. Stack 3, 2, 1. And this one was actually able to get into it pretty fast. I don't know what's going on with this one. It looks like it kind of hung up a little bit. But that one, so maybe the FE one there. Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And this one looks pretty close. They both kind of stuttered at the same spot in the beginning with, if you guys saw that. And maybe the S20 was a little bit faster than the FE. But they both, again, were pretty close to one another. Gaming-wise, I mean, they're going to be exactly the same. This is a pretty, basic game when it comes down to it. We can do Crossy Road, 3, 2, 1. And we do have to input our age here, so that was a little bit of a different thing. We can do Fruit Ninja, 3, 2, 1. Now, there may be some pop-ups on both, so there is a pop-up here, so I will have to go ahead and redo this one. Fruit Ninja again, 3, 2, 1. And I just feel like the animations may be a little bit faster on the FE as well. That was pretty surprising. It just seemed like it was way more smoother to get into the app. But once we're in it, they both looked kind of the same. We can do the original Temple Run, 3, 2, 1. I feel like I'm going to run into 30 different problems within it. No, I guess not. So this is the very first time that I never ran into problems opening it up. And maybe the S20 FE was a little bit faster there, but again, they both were kind of hand in hand. Not a ginormous difference here, but pretty close. Snapchat 3, 2, 1. Okay, almost identical. Instagram 3, 2, 1. Thought I clicked it there, but I didn't. We definitely had a pop-up here, so it's totally okay. Bofa 3, 2, 1. And I think the S20, standard S20 was a little bit faster there. And we'll go ahead and do a couple more. It's kind of, we kind of get the gist of it. We can do Quizlet 3, 2, 1. And yeah, about the same there too. And I mean, Twitter 3, 2, 1. S20 is faster. So I definitely would say, the speed between them are very identical. There's not really one that really blows the other one out of the water. I think maybe the S20 FE has some advantages sometimes with the loading animations, but I think speed-wise, they're almost identical. Maybe the bigger differences will come into the RAM management side, and I'll go ahead and I guess, do the first one. I don't want this video to be 40 minutes long, but you might see that if you're, doing a bunch of different, RAM management things, if you're trying to keep a lot of apps in the background, as you can see, the Galaxy S20 FE, that's where it's probably gonna, kind of mess up at a little bit, keeping more apps in the background. With the S20, we'll be able to keep more apps in the background at the end of it, unless you get the 8 gig of RAM option of the FE. I did not do that. I got the 6 gig of RAM option, but it could be different in your case. So in terms of that, that really pretty much covers it up. Let's go ahead and hit on the cameras now. Now they both have triple camera setups on the back. The Galaxy S20 has a 12 megapixel wide angle lens, 64 megapixel telephoto lens, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. Where the Galaxy S20 FE has a 12 megapixel wide angle lens, 8 megapixel telephoto lens, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. Now with the Galaxy S20, I mean, it's a great camera and it's probably the best camera out right now in my opinion. I think maybe the iPhone 11 Pro is good too, but you have so much capability in this specific lens. Not only do you have the ability of doing 4K 60, where the Galaxy S20 FE tops out at, but you can also do 8K videos, which is extremely impressive. That's something that maybe not a lot of people will use, maybe not a lot of people care about, but that is still a really cool feature at the end of the day. You have a ton of features built into the camera as well, as you can see. I mean, the camera quality, I don't have to tell you guys. I mean, it's one of the best camera qualities out there. And with One UI 2.5, and I think we just got another supplement update as well, there are way more features built into the Galaxy S20 camera than when we first got it. We now have manual mode, we have manual video mode as well. We have a ton of different things like that. So this camera is really good, and it's really only gotten better since we got this phone in-house. Where the Galaxy S20 FE is a great camera as well in my opinion. You can do 4K at 60. The camera quality itself is not too far off. I feel like the autofocus is a little bit weirder compared to the S20. I feel like that one's a little bit smoother, but I don't even think this camera is bad. I don't think it's horrible. Like, I actually think it's a pretty good camera, but I think when we're comparing it to the S20 with this like futuristic ability of doing 8K and all that stuff, I mean, even though it might seem like a useless feature, that's still a really cool thing, and that's a big advantage you have on the S20. With the S20 FE, like, it'll get the job done. You kind of have the same features for the most part. You still have a lot of manual mode capability. You still have the ultra wide and telephoto lens that the S20 has. I just think the camera sensors are better on the S20, but I really do like how these camera sensors look. I really like that look that the Note 20 brought, and I really do like how the S20 FE has that capability as well, just having the way they look. So in terms of the camera department, I'll definitely say that the Galaxy S20 wins the standard one, but the FE is still a pretty good camera sensor too. Now, ending it off with the battery life, I keep hitting the stop record button for some reason, I don't know why. But in terms of the battery life, which one is going to be better? So we have a 4,000 mAh battery on the S20, but we have a 4,500 mAh battery on the Galaxy S20 FE. And it definitely, when it comes down to it, I'll be the first one to tell you, the S20 FE is going to have the bigger and better battery life for the most part. Not only do you have a lower resolution panel on the S20 FE, but you have the same exact performance for the most part, so that's not really going to hinder anything. The display may be a little bit bigger, but because of that bigger battery, you're going to be getting a better battery life from the S20 FE than on the Galaxy S20. So to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, which one you should pick up, I'll definitely tell you, if it's between both of these, the Galaxy S20 I think is still the better phone to go. It has a lot more capability, it looks better, it performs better, it feels better for the most part, because it is a better phone. This is the flagship of this year. The FE is kind of like a flagship light, it's a Galaxy S20 light. That's kind of what this phone's going for, and I think that's totally okay. There's a demographic for this device. If you have to go brand new, obviously this is one of the cheaper brand new phones you can pick up from the Samsung lineup. That's actually pretty good, but I still think, for picking up on Amazon, the S20 is a really good pickup. There's so much capability behind this device, and you can't really go wrong with the S20, but I think the FE is perfectly fine too. So like I said, if you want to pick up either of these ones, they'll be linked down below, but that pretty much covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. Every single subscriber that we get really does count, so it means so much if you guys could hit that. Also check out the other links down in the description as well. My Twitter, my Instagram, my second channel. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.